Eamonn Holmes fans fume over disgusting and unprofessional on-air habit. The presenter was back on the small screen for the breakfast program on GB News, but viewers were left distracted. GB News presenter Eamonn Holmes found himself at the center of heated complaints on social media after viewers spotted him eating on air during the TV station's breakfast program. Despite an exclusive segment from Patrick Christys reporting live from Calais with freshly arrived individuals, audiences were peeved by Eamonn's habit. After the clip, the 65-year-old was seen chewing while Ellie introduced guest and former Tory advisor Charlie Rowley. Viewers took to Twitter to express their anger, reports The Express. One fan blasted, "Why is Holmes allowed to stuff himself live on TV? So BL*** die unprofessional." Another said, "Is it possible to stop Holmes stuffing his face every 2 minutes? If not, please make sure he isn't chewing and munching when on the camera. It's very disturbing." A third added, "Eamonn takes his breakfast show to new levels. You can now enjoy watching him eat it." Another remarked, "Eamonn, stop eating, chewing, and sucking your teeth. It's really unpleasant to see. Every morning you do this." One person said, "Eamonn, it doesn't look good when the crumbs from the Greggs sausage roll are falling down your suit." Following the reports that nearly 1,200 migrants have crossed the English Channel since Sunday, Charlie stated, "There's obviously an attraction to the UK. That's why people pass through so many countries, including France, deemed a safe country, but people want to get to the UK." People that Patrick was talking to there said they had family in London. "People have made the perilous journey, family members have made that journey, and they've settled in London, whether it's in hotels, as we've seen all too often across the country." He continued, "There's clearly a pull factor into the UK, maybe because there's no deterrent. The Labour government scrapped the Rwanda policy, whether that was the right thing or not, it seemed to be a deterrent at the time." Holmes left in tears as he shares heartbreaking memory of late father, "Brings tears to my eyes." The GB News star candidly opened up in an upcoming episode of his hit podcast. Eamonn Holmes, 65, was left choking back tears after he sat down with former world champion boxer Barry McGuigan, 64, during an upcoming installment of his new podcast. Titled Things We Like with Eamonn and Paul, Eamonn and co-host Paul Coit chat to a whole host of big-named stars about their lives in the spotlight and what simple pleasures they find joy in. The podcast series launched on Thursday, May 15, with Eamonn and Paul chatting to acting legend David Jason, 85, about all things Only Fools, the BBC, and rather irksome co-stars. GBnews.com has been given exclusive access to the next installment of the podcast featuring Barry, and much like the first, Eamonn and Paul had a lot of fun getting to learn more about their guest. However, with a friendship spanning decades, both Eamonn and Barry also bravely opened up about dealing with losses within their respective families and how they continue to remember their loved ones who are sadly no longer around. In particular, the pair reflected on the memories they have of their fathers. Eamonn's dad, Leonard, died of a heart attack in 1991, aged 64, while Barry's father passed away at just 52 in 1987. The candid and emotional conversation arose during the second episode of Things We Like with Eamonn and Paul when Paul discussed the reception Barry received after returning home as a world champion for the first time in 1985. Barry reflected on how 250,000 people lined the streets to welcome him home and celebrate his victory over Panamanian boxer Eusebio Pedroza. Reminiscing about his memory of Barry's famous victory, Eamonn recalled the role the boxer's dad played in forming the champion he turned out to be. "Your dad was a special man, and I know he was very special to you," Eamonn said. "Paul, Barry used to come out into the ring." Paul interjected, "I know, I watched it when I used to watch the fights. I know what you're gonna say. Danny boy," Eamonn said. "He used to stand out. It's a song, and I'm sure Barry's exactly the same, it brings tears." Eamonn began to get choked up over the significance of the song and the emotional meaning it had between him and his own father. Speaking through tears, the breakfast presenter continued, "It brings tears to my eyes because of my own dad, for reasons I won't go into, but you know, it's..." "How emotional was that for you, Barry?" Eamonn managed to ask, to which an equally emotional Barry also struggled through tears to answer. "I can't, my old man, my dad was very important to me," Barry replied as he became audibly moved. "He saw me win the world title, and he died unfortunately, at 52. So he was only a young man, but he was great, he was a really big part of my life. Everything about my life was generated by my old man. He brought me everywhere. We went to spar all over the country, we went to Dublin, and we went to Belfast because all the best amateur clubs were in Belfast or Dublin. It meant him traveling, and bear in mind he was out probably 4 nights a week with his band, and he still found the time to get me that extra quality sparring which brought me on leaps and bounds. He was an amazing guy. As I say, we were all destroyed when he died. So if I get into talking about the tragedies that I've had, Barry continued, which prompted Eamonn and Paul to weigh back in with their supportive comments before the trio moved on with the rest of the podcast. This isn't the first time Eamonn has candidly opened up about the loss of his father, bravely reflecting on his death during an interview with Roots: The Meaning of Life in 2021. Speaking about his father's generosity, Eamonn told the program, "He's been gone 31 years now, but I still miss him every day. I can't recall my late father without thinking of how he always wanted to provide, even when I had a successful career. I think, like all of us, he just liked to be needed. All he did was give us a big hug, or whatever. All he did was say things like, 'Do you need any money?' I was on Ulster television, earning £12,000 a year. He wasn't earning £12,000 a year or anything near it. One day, my mum said, 'Let him give you some money.' I did. I was like, 'Yeah, Dad,' and he'd give me 20 quid. Eamonn and Paul will be speaking to more famous faces throughout the debut series of their podcast. Things We Like with Eamonn and Paul is available to download and subscribe to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and all major platforms. New episodes are released every Thursday.